Facebook, go live. Right, that. Hey, this is a level check. Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer here. I'll be with you in about a minute, maybe a few seconds sooner. We are talking about the possibility of seeing the northern lights this evening. We also had the drought monitor come out today, which is good news. All right. And it's got good news, I should say. If I could just find it, that would be the other thing. Da-da-da. Okay, there's the current one, right? Okay. Okay, there's the current one. Okay, I'll be with you here in a few seconds. It says 7:15 on my clock. I'll just be a couple seconds late. All right, and while I'm getting to you, I'll show you the setting sun from our tower cam. And a few high, thin clouds out there. And every once in a while, I'm going to mute my mic because I've kind of developed the sniffles, and I got to blow my nose every once in a while. You won't have to hear it that way, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, I am back. And again, we will be, there's the setting sun on our tower cam. I am looking for the latest drought monitor. There, I found it. Put that into the rundown. Okay, and now I've got to put in the Climate Prediction Center forecast, and we'll have the show ready to go. Sorry, with whatever reason I've got sniffles. It took me a few more seconds to get this done. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, everyone, you see the sun is setting as we speak. A few patchy high clouds, a lot of blue sky. Gorgeous, gorgeous look there. I always love to see the setting sun. And you can also see a jet contrail or two up that way. All right, so you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to turn on the lights. Now, just give me a second here. And we'll turn on the studio lights, turn off the overheads. Here we go. Now it looks like professionally lit room. Okay, so what you see behind me here, these are guy wires from the tower. You see the sun is set. You've got that beautiful, beautiful color that you get on a clear night, you know, so you can see a jet contrail up here. So we are, again, talking about really some nice weather coming our way. All right, let's see what the next thing in line is. Okay, 73 degrees out there, so it's a nice mild evening to start. It'll cool off quite a bit. Now, what we're looking at here is we are talking about the possibility of seeing the aurora borealis tonight. Now, the first thing you need, even this far south, is to make sure it's pretty dark. So if you're in an area where you have a lot of light, you're going to have to try and find a dark spot. One thing working in our favor is that the moon sets here at 8:37. It's only a sliver, only 1% of it's illuminated. And so without the moon up, it's going to be a nice dark night if you can find that dark spot. And of course, it's the northern lights, or aurora borealis as we call it, and you have to look to the north. Now, the farther south you go, the lower in the sky it'll be. So in Nashville, if you're going to have to go out in Nashville to an area where you can see a nice horizons to be really low. For us, it'll be not quite halfway up in the sky, but a little bit lower than that. And you should be able to see a nice view of it to the north, because those clouds I showed you on our tower cam shot. They're going away, and it'll be nice and clear. And the peak time for seeing the aurora borealis is 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, so the aurora borealis, that's what it'll kind of look like. Now, it may not be that bold, it may not be that bright. When I was, and I'll show it to you full screen there so you can see it a little bit better. When I was up in on the Cumberland Peninsula of Baffin Island, my wife and I were backpacking up there years ago. You could see it just like this. It was just flat out amazing. It'll be dimmer, not as easy to see here. That's where you have to get to a dark spot. But the Space Weather Center is telling us that it's going to be a pretty nice one. Notice the bars there. Okay, it'll be a K7 in the Cincinnati area, and that puts it up to, that's tonight, Thursday night, that puts it up to a strong. So you've got a really good chance of seeing the aurora borealis looking to the north between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it should look pretty nice. And most of the time when you see it this far south, it's that green color. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. So there you see the southern limit is about Nashville. It'll be hard to see it down there, but it should look about that color, okay? And the colors are determined by what kind of gases that the solar wind, as we call it, is interacting with. So in that case, it more than likely would be oxygen, but it's usually green when you see it down this way. And again, that is going to be a fairly strong one. You can see the Thursday bar there at K7, which is fairly strong. So you've got a pretty good chance of seeing it. Okay. Let's go back a little. I tell you what, these sniffles really got me today. Sorry, I had to do that. My throat is really dry all of a sudden. All right. So this is the, actually, this is the drought index from last Thursday. Okay, it came out today, the new one. This is last Thursday. And notice, exceptional drought is the darkest shade. Extreme drought is this orange shade here, or orange or red. Severe drought, moderate drought, and abnormally dry. So we had exceptional drought in the eastern part of Highland County, and then we had this extreme drought from Highland, all of Clinton, all of Warren, most of Butler, northern Hamilton, a good portion of Dearborn, and a good portion of central and eastern parts of Ripley County. And down here along the Kentucky River, Owen County, a good portion of Owen County was really, really dry. And you can see that this moderate drought, most of the rest of the area was in moderate drought, although you had some areas like this part of the viewing area. So the southeast was not in moderate drought, but it was just abnormally dry. And then we got the remnants of Hurricane Helene. Excuse me, I'm still having trouble with my nose running down my throat. Okay, that's the sniffles. Okay, so what you're looking at there is 1 week ago. Now you can see it that's 25th of September. Let's go to today's drought index. No, I hit the wrong button. Let's go to the drought index from today, and you can see what a change in the tri-state. Okay, so these areas that were normally dry are now next to normal. The exceptional drought has moved way out of the Fox 19 now viewing area, so Highland County, and the heaviest rain that our viewing area got, which is all these counties shaded in here, the heaviest rain that they got occurred in eastern Highland County and eastern Adams County, and so that pushed them to moderate drought and just abnormally dry, and near normal and abnormally dry for Adams County. Look at Lewis County, completely, the entire county, just near normal. So we had a big, big change just because of one, and that's why we call it a drought buster. We really weren't sure if it moved in too quickly and moved out too quickly, we wouldn't have gotten enough rain. The other way we wouldn't have gotten enough rain is if it just rained too heavily. Okay, that sounds weird, but when it rains too heavily, it runs off into the creeks and streams and really doesn't do any good. So the best conditions you can have to help bust a drought are rain lasting a long time and not falling too heavily so it has time to soak in, and that's exactly what most areas got. And so this remarkable improvement on the drought monitor. Now I know when I'm talking about this, if you're a farmer, it's just too late. I mean, it came too late, for all the crops, is my understanding. And if you're a home gardener, it's still going to be dry, because when you see the next 14 days, we've got some pretty dry weather on the way. Now, the difference between the next 14 days and the 14 days before the remnants of the hurricane got here is that it won't be as hot, so we won't dry out the soil as quickly, and the next time we get rain, the soil won't be baked hard again. So several advantages to being in autumn now. Cooler nights, cooler days, so we don't get as much evaporation out of the soil, so the soil stays moister and it doesn't bake hard, and that enables us, when we do get rain, for it to soak in more. So, so good news, but not as good as it could be, because we still need more rain around the tri-state. Okay, here's the satellite radar loop. Now, what you're seeing here is you're going to see a few high, thin clouds. Those are the clouds we saw in the camera shots. Notice they're moving north and eastward pretty quickly, and watch what happens when I zoom this out. Okay, watch the clouds. You can see it's just a patch. So we're looking at that cloud cover right down here, moving north and eastward, and the air that's coming in from this area, it has no cloud cover in it. So that's why I'm saying it should clear out as far as viewing the aurora borealis, or the northern lights. Okay, this is what high, thin cloud cover looks like on the model. It makes it look like we're just socked in with cloud cover, but models don't have the resolution that you have on a satellite picture or a camera looking at the clouds from below. And so what we have right there is we have high, thin cloud cover over most of the viewing area. Notice by 10 o'clock it's pretty much off to the north and east, so that by 11 o'clock, lasting until 2 a.m., we should be pretty much cloud-free, and then we get another patch of high clouds in during the morning. So the good news is, if you are in a dark enough spot, if you can stay up that late, you might be able to see the northern lights. Okay, and then up to about 80 during the day tomorrow. Okay, now, I forgot to mention something. Let's see, let's go back. Let me back up a couple graphics here. Okay, here we go. So what I forgot to mention is this. This is a very weak cool front. Notice how most of the rain is moving east, northeastward. So as this thing moves eastward, the tail end of it may just clip the Fox 19 Now viewing area tomorrow evening. Looks like it's going to come through dry. Well, the same kind of frontal system will come our way out of southwestern Canada for Sunday. It may just clip the Fox 19 Now viewing area. Now, when you get a situation like this, first of all, most of the energy and the activities up here to the north, and we just get kind of the tail end of something. That cuts down on the amount of rain we might get, and the air here is very dry, and it's not going to really change much. We don't have any kind of system coming our way to drag moisture northward out of the Gulf of Mexico. So when this front gets here, probably just a few clouds, maybe a sprinkle for Friday evening, and then another one for Sunday, which is Bengals game. Okay, so I forgot to mention that before. Now we can go back. There's the cloud cover moving off to the north and east. Now, watch what happens here. Okay, this is the front we just pointed out in the model. It has a few showers in there by Friday at 10 a.m. We put it back into motion, and notice the showers kind of go away. This is 4:50 p.m. Friday, so just before 5 p.m., and notice it's just a band of cloud cover without rain. It's just the tail end of that front. Most of the activity's up to the north. It's going to push to the south and east, and as it pushes to the south and east, you can see it full screen again. No rain develops along it. Okay, now go to Sunday. Here's another one of those weak fronts. Now, what you can see if you look at it, if you look at this here, this is thinner cloud cover than the other one. You have to take a look, but the other one, the cloud cover, this was more densely white. So thinner cloud cover. This is 2:20 p.m. The Bengals are playing at this time. No precipitation around the Fox 19 Now viewing area. However, when this front heads over here toward the Appalachian Mountains, the lift that's generated by the terrain will add some shower activity to it. So watch what happens. There you see it right there. Okay. So as it goes up over the Appalachian Mountains, some showers. Now, just to allow for the possibility that the models may have their timing off for a little bit, we'll say that there could be a sprinkle late in the game for the Bengals. But for tailgating, during the game, should be nothing. On the drive home, you might get a sprinkle, but I don't see any problems whatsoever at this point from the weather. So, okay, we'll let you look at that again. I'm going to mute the mic because I've developed some pretty bad sniffles here. Hang on a second. And to spare you the grossness, I just don't want to blow my nose and have you hear it too. Okay, so I'm trying to be courteous here. All right, so that is what it looks like for Sunday. Just a few clouds maybe along with another one of those weak fronts. All right, so weather station temperatures right now, these are current, 75 in Liberty, Oxford at 72, Brooksville at 71, Owenton and Falmouth at 70, Mount Orb is 66, 68 in Lawrenceburg, 76 in Greensburg. So a little bit of a variation on, when I say weather station temps, these are personal weather stations. Most of the temperatures you see are airport temperatures, or in some cases they are personal weather station temperatures, which is somebody's own weather station in their side or backyard, and they put the, going through the National Weather Service, they put the data they collect up online so we can give you what it looks like. Okay, now sunset at 7:19, so the sun's been down for 10 minutes. And we're looking at a clear sky by 11 p.m. with 60 degrees out there. So kind of cool by late in the evening. Overnight, 7:36 is when the sun comes up. We're looking at a low of 55. Again, the second patch of clouds will move in, and then the high tomorrow right around 80 degrees. Okay, here's the new stuff from the Climate Prediction Center. Okay, they've got us somewhere between cooler than normal, all right, somewhere between cooler than normal and near normal to the 13th. A little bit warmer than normal as we head to the 17th. We'll look at a graph of these temperatures coming up. Okay, and then this one gets updated tomorrow. It's the 3 to 4 week temperature outlook. And we are talking about temperatures near to warmer than normal. I think it's going to go to warmer than normal by then. Okay, precipitation-wise, it looks like there's a big bullseye here of drier than normal weather, a really big area. Actually, drier than normal from the Rockies almost all the way to the Atlantic, or all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, with the exception of Florida. So it looks like a dry pattern. That's through the 13th. Through the 17th, it really doesn't change much. We are still pretty much drier than normal around the tri-state. And this is the graphic that gets updated tomorrow. They had that drier than normal out to the west. I think the drier than normal is going to be right over top of us through the 31st. And that's kind of consistent with what we've been talking about for a while, that October is probably going to end drier than normal and not really cold, but near normal temperature-wise. And that's kind of what's happening here. Okay, here's your 7-day forecast. Okay, low tonight, about 55, high Friday 80. Saturday, a low of 56, a high of 78. And Sunday, a low of 58, a high of 83. Now, we do have FC Cincinnati playing on Saturday. So if you're heading down to FC Cincinnati, you can see that it looks like they are playing Orlando City. 78 for tailgating, 75 for kickoff, 73 at halftime and clear. So it looks like pretty good weather for that. And on Sunday, of course, it's Bengals Sunday, and we're the flagship station of the Cincinnati Bengals. So we like to talk about the Bengals a lot. Okay, tailgating, 65, and a little bit cooler than that if you're beginning to tailgate, when you set up in that. But nice weather, tailgating, 65. 77 as the game begins, halftime 82, a little bit on the breezy side through the game, and it'll hang out in the low 80s right on through the rest of the game. So after Bengals Sunday, with that chance of a sprinkle in the evening, we've got sunshine and dry weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Lows in the 40s, highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Beyond the 7-day forecast, look, only one day with a chance of rain. Yesterday we were thinking there'd be 3, but it looks like that's not going to happen. So we're looking at the chance for a few insignificant showers. Okay, so what's going to happen here is we had a lot of rain. The soil began to moisten up. It's going to dry back out, okay, but not as quickly as it did because the temperatures won't be as hot. Okay, so it will dry out, but it won't bake the soil into a hard pan like it did last time. Okay, so we go now to the 14-day temperature summary, and there you see it. There are the highs, there are the lows. When you compare it to normal, looks like we are at normal throughout the 10th and then above normal through the 17th. That's consistent with the Climate Prediction Center's forecast. And on the low side, about the same thing. So A little bit warmer than normal temperatures, a little bit drier than normal as far as the weather goes around the tri-state. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to change to camera 1. So now I'm right here on camera 1. I guess sometimes when I look at myself close up, it's like, yee. I'm a person that has a big, well-defined personal space. So if somebody comes up and they're just casually talking to me and they're this close, it's like, I don't like that. I would love to talk to people, but I want them a little bit more than arm's length away. I don't know, that's just my thing. I don't know if you're that way, but I'm not a huggy-feely kind of person. I am a friendship at a distance kind of person. Now you know something about me. Okay, so let me go here to Facebook. So I changed cameras so I can easily work on the computer we use for Facebook and get some comments and questions. All right, Shauna Lynn. Hi, Steve. Horstmeyer, WXIX. Yeah, that's me. Shauna, hello to you. Hope you're having a good evening. Susan Wally, I would love to see these in Alaska. See what in Alaska? Okay, earlier this year, my pictures were mostly purple and pink. Mountain Dew drink of the meteorologist. That's right. Okay, Susan. Tina Wolf. I don't want hot IND. I'm not sure what you're saying, Tina, but it's not going to be that hot. It'll be kind of warm for the Bengals game, but with low humidity, it won't be that bad, especially for the players, it'll be a little warm. Yeah, Melvin, it is going to be. Melvin Stone Street says, yeah, he knows it's going to be nice this weekend. You're absolutely right, Melvin. So Wally says she still has zucchinis growing, tomatoes, green peppers, and Indian corn. Wow. I'm going to assume, Susan, that you were able to water all that. And you know what? I planted wildflowers in my front yard, took up the grass. It's not a big front yard. And the black-eyed Susans first bloomed about 6 weeks earlier than they were supposed to because our front yard's right in the sun, so it warmed up quickly, and they were blooming like the second week of April, way ahead of time. And then I still have some blooming because I've kept them watered, and luckily the remnants of the hurricane also put some water in there. So it sounds like you're doing pretty well. Okay, just a second. They're coming through to vacuum the carpet down the hallway, so I had to close the door so you guys could hear me. Okay, hello, Molly Purcell Pollock. Let's see. Yeah, okay, and Molly, yeah, you may see the Northern Lights again tonight, tomorrow. Tomorrow, not as good of a chance, okay? Tomorrow they occur earlier on. Even though the moon's only a sliver, it'll be down by then. But tonight, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the peak time. Now, I came into work and a lot of other stuff to do, but meteorologist Ethan Emery worked on all this for me. And if you look, I'll go back to this graphic, and you got to look to the north, of course. It's called the Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis, if you prefer. And I tell you, they're really, really cool. Okay, and so here comes the graphic that'll show you, and I'll give it to you full screen here. Give me a second. Okay, so here it is full screen. All right, so that's the beginning of the graphic. We'll put it into motion, and what's going to happen, you're going to see that it pushes off to the south. Now, the line there that shows the limit of it down to near Nashville, that is where it's, if you look at the key up above below the banner, you can see that's where they're very low on the horizon. Around here, it's going to be higher in the sky. Not quite, not, if you're looking at them, they're not going to be up like this at 45 degrees, but about like that, okay? You should be able to see the Northern Lights. Again, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., and they should kind of look like this, all right? Most of the time when you see them at this latitude, they're the green. Now, the different colors of the aurora indicate what gases in the high atmosphere that the solar wind, as they call it, or those charged particles coming from the sun, are interacting with. Okay, so let me see. I'm just going to say it. Aurora colors. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Aurora colors from space.com, all right? Yeah, they've captivated humans for thousands of years. Okay, there are, as I mentioned, the solar wind, or the energized particles from the sun. Okay, the electrically charged particles enter the Earth's atmosphere and excite the gases. And then that means that they add energy to them, and the electrons jiggle around a lot more. And whenever if you take an electron or an electric charge and you move it back and forth, it'll emit light. So, since the Earth's atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, approximately, most of the auroras you see are the interaction of the charged particles with the nitrogen. Then there's oxygen, argon, and carbon dioxide. Okay, so, a green aurora, it's the most common color, typically produced when charged particles collide with oxygen high in the atmosphere. Okay, so that's the most common. And because your eye is most sensitive to green, you can easily see those more. So tonight you might be able to see them, but you'll have to get to a dark place. Even if you live out in the country, you shouldn't have any problem. If you live in the city, you're going to have to try and find a place without a lot of light and where you can see to the north. Okay, so the red aurora, they're less frequent. They're associated with intense solar activity, and that's when the charged particles interact with oxygen. So green is for nitrogen. And I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Yeah, oxygen at higher altitudes, okay? So if it's green, it's oxygen at lower altitudes. If it's red, it's oxygen at higher altitudes. And then you can get blue and purple auroras too, but they're really not usually visible until you get to the polar regions. Yellow and pink are rare. And that's just when you get red and blue and green auroras working together and beginning. So here's what it looks like. That's what a green aurora looks like behind me. And for tonight, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., looking to the north, it should be a strong aurora. So if you're in a dark enough spot, looks like the cloud cover will clear out and the moon's down below the horizon, so there's no moonlight to have to deal with. Should be a good night to see the aurora off to the north, especially if you're in a rural area. Okay, so let me get back now to the questions. So Molly, that's it. Look to the north, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Ashley Hampton wants to know about the dew points for the next week. They're going to be relatively low, typical for this time of year, and more than likely we'll see them in the 40s and 50s, okay? So when it gets to 60, you begin to feel the humidity. When it gets to 70, it's pretty nasty. But when it's in the 40s and 50s, it's very comfortable. Now, one of the other things that happens when it's in the 40s and 50s, with the dew points low, that means there's less moisture in the air. And because oxygen, okay, give me a second here. I feel better if I'm on screen for this. And because water is made up of H2O, one oxygen with two hydrogen molecules on it, it kind of looks like a Mickey Mouse, okay, with the ears. And because the hydrogen have one electron, they share it, okay, with the oxygens. And an electron is a negative charge. So at the far end of the ears, over time, you have an excess positive charge, okay? And because that negative charge is shared with the oxygen, at the other end, you have a slight negative charge. So slight positive up here, slight negative up here. So when two water molecules meet, they can stick together because opposites attract, like that. And what happens then is not just water molecules, because the positives and negatives attract each other, but there are other substances in the atmosphere. Nitrate fertilizer dust, very fine dust, has exposed particles. Sea salt, when it gets thrown upward by a breaking wave, that has chlorine and sodium chloride, so you've got sodium atoms, ions, which are positive, chlorine atoms, which are negative, and those can hook up with water. That's exactly how it gets a lot more complicated. But because water has exposed charges, negative and positive, and salt has exposed charges, positive and negative, a snowflake that has water crystals there works interactively with a salt crystal, and because of the negative and positive charges attracting and repelling, that's how salt melts snow, okay? And it gets a lot more complicated than that. And somehow we got from snow on the ground, which would make one guy happy, to from the aurora. But overall, it looks like it'll primarily be a green aurora, so that's the middle level oxygen out there, okay? All right, back to Facebook, see what else we have. So Nick Fisher wants to know if I see the dry spell lasting long. I see the dry spell lasting at least till the 20th of the month, okay, other than maybe a sprinkle here and there. But when I say a dry spell, I also mean, even though there might be sprinkles, no significant rainfall, okay? So probably, Nick, to the 20th of the month, and after that, we just have to see what's happening. Kentucky Wool Fest, if I remember correctly, that is in Falmouth. Is that correct, David? Looks good. Looks really good, okay? If you go to the Kentucky Wool Fest early in the morning, it'll be cool and dewy. If you go into the afternoon, the bright sunshine will make it kind of hot in the sun, but when you stand in the shade, it'll be good. And then if you stay to the evening hours with the air being dry, remember, there's not a lot of water vapor in this air, so without that greenhouse gas, which is water vapor, heat escapes to space quickly, and we end up with it cooling off quickly. So nice cool evenings, nice chilly mornings, or cool mornings anyway, and just nice toasty afternoons for the Kentucky Wool Fest. Ashley, you're welcome. Jen Newell says, hey. Hey, Jen. David Flanagan. Yes, the Pendleton County, Kentucky. So the Pendleton County, Kentucky Wool Fest this weekend, I haven't been for years. I went a number of years ago. I can't remember how, but it's a lot of fun. It's great, okay? And they treat you right down there in Falmouth and Pendleton County. Okay, that's the end of the comments. All right, let me go back to the forecast. Okay, one more time. Let's look at the map that talks about. Again, this is the map that Ethan Emery prepared today, so that we could let you all know about it. Now that is the second. There it is. Okay, that arc there, that bluish shade, that's where it's low in the sky. So you've got to have a wide open field or something of the horizon a while off. But that watch what happens as we go into tonight. Again, the peak times to see the northern lights, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Of course, you look to the north. That blue band that goes through Tulsa just touches Nashville. That's where it's really low in the sky. And for us, not 45 degrees, not directly overhead, but kind of from 45 degrees down to the horizon. You should be able to see some of it. And again, because the green is forecast, that means your eyes are more sensitive to that. And if you can get to a dark spot, you should be able to see it. And that's pretty much what it's going to look like right there. And it is rated by space.com as, if you look there on the right, if you look right here, the Thursday aurora is rated as a strong one, or a K7. So that is good news. Okay, let's go to the 7-day forecast. Oh, it did work. Okay, so give it to you full screen here. 55 tonight, 80 tomorrow, 56 and 78 Saturday. For the Bengals Sunday, 58 and 83. So nice mornings, nice toasty afternoons. If you're heading by some chance to TQL Stadium to see FC Cincinnati play on Saturday, 78 at tailgating, 75 at kickoff, and 73 at halftime. Okay, so that looks good. All right, and for Bengals Sunday, we're talking about this. We're talking about 58 and 83 for tailgating, 65, 77 at kickoff, and excuse me, at halftime, 82 degrees with the rest of the game at 82. And then A stretch Monday through Thursday of dry, nice weather, warm afternoons, cool mornings, and that pretty much stays the same right on through the 17th of the month with one chance of a little bit of rain on Monday, the 14th. So that's it for now. Thank you for joining me. I've got to run. I think I've got this summertime or fall cold thing beginning to develop, and I've got to go blow my nose. Got a good way to end the weathercast, huh? I'll be on tonight at 10. We'll do this again tomorrow at 7:15, but I'll be off tomorrow evening. It'll be meteorologist Ethan Emery, and he will talk about the drought and everything else you need to know. He loves to talk about weather, so you'll get your fill of great information from Ethan tomorrow at 7:15. Until then, thank you for watching, and have yourself a nice evening.